T-Man 978 Chill Review.
Hello everyone, T-Man 978. As you can see, I haven't cleaned up since my last review, and if you watched my Mr. Sinister review and loved it, thank you very much. If you just watched it and didn't like it, thank you anyway. It ended up being a 2-minute review, but it was really 7 minutes worth of footage that I had to cut down, and that took a long time to edit, even though it was short, so don't expect me to do those often. This dude right here, Hasbro's OverWatch Ultimates, Junkrat. It's gonna be one of my regular reviews because there's too much for me to talk about. Mr. Sinister was just Mr. Sinister, and he's simple. Everybody knows Marvel Legends by now. Anyway, I love this artwork right here. As you can see, his hair is on fire. He's using this weapon thing that he actually comes with, but he doesn't come with that little string to pull it. But yeah, his specialty is damage in the Overwatch game, and as you can tell, he's like a demolitions type. He mostly deals in explosives. But yeah, it says he comes with 5 accessories, but that's not really true. He has like 6, and that's 6 if I don't include this floating belt that he has right here. I kind of don't like this belt because as I'm manipulating it, it's too floaty. It moves all around and whatnot. Then he has this harness with the bombs on it. It's made out of a pliable material, but when you get back here, this is a more rigid material, so I guess the bombs are pliable and glued to that, but this strap or backpack is more rigid, and it actually has 2 freaking plastics. Like, I was like, wow, Hasbro spared no expense when it came to putting this guy together. I mean, maybe some expense, like this patch is supposed to be painted a different color. But right here, as you can see, they put the digital print right there, because there's no way they could have just painted that, hand painted it. So that's the digital effect, sort of like they're doing with Transformer Siege. So they're using those digital printings all over and more effectively on their different figures and lines, even if they're not movie related. So I'm loving that and enjoying that. I never know what to talk about first in these reviews, but I'll just go over him. As you can see, he looks like this and whatnot. You should have been looking around. His hair is kind of singed off, so you can see his skull in between his molded hair right there. Because as you saw in the box, it was on fire. So I watched a few videos on before doing this to see his gameplay, so I can get a feel for him, because I don't play the game. But they say he's sort of like a crazy Australian Joker almost, his personality. But articulation, his head goes up, goes down. It's on a hinge. So you can get a tiny bit of head pivot right there. And of course it can rotate and stuff before it bumps into that. So you got to mess around with that. The arms go up that far. Bicep swivel on both arms. This arm has a double jointed elbow, and what I'm noticing when I try to, it's really stiff when I go to like move this. If I have my hand right there, thumb right there, it pinches my freaking skin over and over again. The wrists go in and out on this hand and swivel. Well, it does that on both hands, but you can see what that hand looks like. And this green plastic is green with the skin flesh tone paint right there. It's a different green than the green on the pants. This arm, same butterfly joints and whatnot, but when you get to the elbow, it only bends that much, which is unfortunate, especially since this is his gun wielding hand. So yeah, that is super unfortunate. But they did go the extra mile of making this swivel because it's 2 separate pieces. In this hand, he comes with the trigger finger hand on, but I'm just going with this to make him look as neutral as possible. He has great diaphragm range. You can come forward on that diaphragm right there, go back. When you go back, you can see in there, and you see he has an orange ball peg right there. It might be a double ball post. Nah, the ball is at the bottom, but he does have the crazy ab crunch that they've been giving all of the Power Rangers and Overwatch figures. So yeah, that works in his favor a lot. Then he has this right here. Legs can go out far, kick forward, kick back a lot. Both knees, even though this leg is different, both knees swivel up under this molding right there. The thing I don't like about this molding is I wish they would have made this pliable. It's more hard and rigid. You can bend. For this leg, it doesn't kind of matter. But for this leg, which is double jointed, look at that. It swivels up there. They kind of made it go higher, but you still only really get 90 degrees no matter how you bend it. And I wish you could get more. I mean, it can kind of pull out a little bit. I don't know if that's intentional, but I wish it could get more. And down here is just a ball joint in the ankle. So you can pop that off. If you had a Marvel Legends head that fits a peg this small, which I couldn't find, the only person I could think of is, what is her name? Misty Knight. But her peg is too small for this. Her peg hole is too small for that ball joint. So if there's anything as far as his articulation that I would have wanted this arm to be able to extend or something so that it can bend more than that. And I wish the molding back here was softer or could get out of the way in some type of way. But yeah, everything else is freaking awesome. The head, this stuff might get in the way of his head a little bit. But yeah. One complaint that I almost forgot to make. Both figures I saw at GameStop, I found this at GameStop, had this mold flash on the bicep. Like, ugh, that is unprofessional. I guess I could sand that down myself, but yeah, you shouldn't have that on figures. And yeah, I found this at GameStop, but typically they are retailing at $19.99 if you haven't been paying attention to the Overwatch Ultimates figures. GameStop there a little bit more. I'm going to have a link in my description to this guy, and it's a lot more than GameStop. But eventually, if you keep checking, they might drop the price because they get restocks, or after a few months when the toys aren't popular anymore, the price will go down. So keep checking. Maybe when you decide to watch my video, if you don't watch my videos as soon as they go up, or maybe you're a little bit late, maybe it'll be cheap again. Let's get into his accessories now. He comes with this thing. This is his biggest accessory. In the game, I've seen that he winds it up and throws it, and it rolls around. And I guess it explodes once it hits somebody. But the interesting thing about this is it's a big piece of plastic. It is hollow a little bit in there. But they went the extra mile of putting these pliable spikes all around it. So this thing right here, this is money when it comes to Hasbro. You can put this, it's specifically keyed to fit on his back a certain way. You can put that there. He also comes with this detonator hand for his traps. It has the detonator molded into the hand. Pop that out. I don't like these little pegs that they've been putting on the Overwatch people. Like, in the case of this hand, that the trigger finger hand that looks like this, and this hand isn't gummy, it's rigid plastic. Both of these hands are more rigid, hard plastic. You can see they have the trigger right there. Here's this gun. I noticed on the game that they have a smiley face painted on there. They didn't do that here. But this is a solid piece of plastic. That's where the grenades would come out. What I'm not liking about these skinny pegs is, depending on how you have his arm posed, it will swivel under the weight of the gun because the gun is heavy. And if you add this little blast effects right here, and no, it can't fit on Transformers Siege weapons or nothing. It might be 5mm peg. I don't know, but there you are. Let me test that out now that I'm interested. Nah, I can't even fit into the ports on a Transformer, so yeah. I know this isn't supposed to be compatible with Transformers, but I would have liked cross compatibility. Outside of those things, The last accessory is this mine he has right here. Nicely sculpted. This one gets to be hollow at the bottom. It has that hole in there. I guess if you wanted to, you could use this as a stand, because getting him to stand up, especially in a pose, is difficult. But unfortunately, since there's no articulation down here like a ball joint or something, you have to be very specific on your stance, and then everything else on him, all of this equipment is heavy, so you'll have to pick and choose what you might want on him when you want it. And like, the butterfly joints are nice, but this gets in the way of the butterfly joint, so that's a points against it. And the main points I can give against it: this loose wrist, because of that small peg. I guess I could put floor polish in there and see what happens. The elbow doesn't bend 90 degrees based upon the sculpting. He has these nice butterfly joints that were a little bit stiff when I opened with it and I had to work with it. But these canisters, they can squeeze and move, but they don't really get out of the way enough. But if you play with this dude, you can find poses. I was getting him into poses. Yeah, if you try good enough, you can get him into a pose, but you'll probably need a better stand than this thing right here. This foot doesn't pivot really good enough unless you have his legs bent a certain way. So I would definitely just get a stand. As far as this thing and that rope situation that you saw in the box, if you want to recreate that, Life with Brock was showing me that I could order some floral wire, but I have this PlayStation 4 webbing. What I was doing was finding the one that gets the most clearance, kind of pulling it out and wrapping it under there, or pulling it up, I should say, not out, wrapping it under there. And then you can recreate that. But if you buy that wire that was suggested to me, it was called floral wire, you should be able to make it look even better than what I'm about to do right now. And he does not have a closed fist at all. He just has the open hands, this hand with the detonator and the trigger hand. So, but if you want to mess around with something like this, here's an option. Size comparison, he's not all that short. He's like typical Marvel Legends height. I have Dazzler over here, so he's about the height of, he's taller than a female. Let me just get, this is gonna be like the new body going forward, more than likely to replace Bucky Cap. I imagine that's what I'm telling myself. He's a little bit taller than him. So there you are. But end of the day, I like the figure. You do have to mess around with him to get him to look nice. You have to know how to pose a figure, and I do know how to do that. But I would suggest having some type of stand to support him, because that 1 foot right there, I did it, but sometimes it can be a little bit difficult. And this only helps but so much. And do you really want him to have a mine for a foot? But anywho, I like him. It's cool. I can suggest it. Until next time, T-Man978 out of here. Thank you for watching. Join the Syndicate Toy Hunters Facebook group. Link in the description. Click the videos. Click the videos, baby. Click the videos. You should really click these videos. Click the videos.